action, and then we'll open up the floor for questions about that particular function within Workday. So I appreciate your working with our approach today, because obviously we can only provide so many face-to-face sessions, and we want to make video available to people at any time to supplement their training. So I see a few more people just arrived.
Jeff will moderate this, like me press, in case I go off a tangent, he'll have to bring me back. Or if there's questions or something, I can be easily distracted.
Hold on a second. And you'll see we even have a piece of tape there on the floor. That's because for videotaping purposes, Rosaline might walk all over the room. So we've actually, she has her line she cannot cross. So,
He
anyway.
told me yesterday I was getting taped on Thursday, so he probably didn't want me to be like, "Today?"
So I think we'll get started, since we don't want to keep you all any longer, and we appreciate you being here today.
Terry Quinn said she was coming.
So again, we've communicated this, that Workday Finance is going live for your transactions as of July 1. Rosaline will expand upon that. A couple of things about the training materials. For those of you who haven't been to training before, there are a couple of key pieces of it that you'll want to maybe even bring out today or refer to in the future. So there's terminology for types of transactions that you've gotten used to using in our current system with Banner. There's going to be new terminology in Workday. So you'll see there's a glossary in your training materials that translates Banner terminology essentially into Workday terminology. The other version of a document like that we're providing, we call a crosswalk of tasks. So the kinds of tasks that you've been performing and worked in Banner, we're directing you to what those tasks or similar kinds of tasks will be referred to as in Workday, so that as Rosaline and Chad will demonstrate, you'll be able to search by the name of those tasks in Workday, and it'll bring you right to the page where you'll begin to do the transaction. Other than that, the materials that are in the folders or in the binders that we've given you cover all three of the different sessions that we're holding for Workday training. This is Procurement A today, focused on requisitions. Procurement B has more of an emphasis on using your P card. And then the other session we're offering is about travel expenses and reimbursements. So there's way more material that we could possibly cram into one session. That's why we were offering these different sessions. And then you all can judge based upon your typical work responsibilities, which ones are a good fit. But if you ever have any question about whether a session is important for you to attend, feel free to reach out to me, and I can try to fill in some of the gaps.
They all are important.
Yes, they all are important, but we want to make the best possible use of your time. So is anybody here at this point who hasn't gotten training materials? Okay.
Good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Rosaline Cardillo. I'm the Director of Purchasing here in Vassar, and we go live on Monday with Workday Finance.
Okay.
So everybody has been playing with Workday
Yes.
or using Workday with HCM, with your payroll, your benefits, and all that. So similar navigation in Workday in the financial area. So we'll go over those. Like Jeff mentioned, we're going to separate this in two. Today we're going to discuss requisitions. How to enter a requisition, how to create a requisition. In Workday, there's going to be 4 ways to spend your money. It's going to be a regular purchase order, a straight purchase, a one-time we're going to call it. We're going to talk about how to create a blanket order, how to do what they call a punch-out, we'll further discuss that, and how to use your P card. Your P card will be in session 2. We'll come back, I think, on Thursday for session 2 if you have not already taken. I will go over what Jeff had mentioned about the crosswalks and about your budget numbers, because in Workday, that will all change. We have spent the last 10, 12 months trying to figure out how you do your job now and how you will do your job in Workday. We are going live on Monday. We've tried to create every scenario, but again, you have 100 departments could have missed one, we could have looked one, but if there are things that you do that may be one-offs, or we do it this way, again, either email Jeff or workday@vassar.edu, and you can answer those questions as they come in. Again, we know this is a huge change. We're taking Banner after 20 some odd years, making it go away, and introducing Workday. We know there's going to be bumps. We know there's going to be we're going to be patient. We're going to ask you to be patient because we're still learning some of the system just as you are. You know, granted, we've had 10 months of trying to figure out how it works, and we're still learning. So again, next week will be a nice week for those who aren't here. Thank you. For those who will be here, we will be here to help you guide through this process. Again, we will turn off Banner, so there's no more requisitions in Banner, and we will do that in Workday. So, as what we're going to show you today, Workday, we're going to train what we call Workday Core. So it's just a training sandbox play that we can do. Some data is in there, not all the data is in there, but it'll be nice for you to see it as we walk through it. Again, you can take some notes. We have all these, what we call job aids in your folders. We also have them on the Workday website, so you can pay attention and hear this again. We will do these training sessions throughout the summer, throughout the fall. So if now when you go live and there's other questions you have, again, you can email us or you can come to another session. One thing about Workday is if you have colleagues that are on Workday, it's like the iPhone. I have an iPhone 5, you may have a 6, you have a 7. With Workday, whoever's on Workday has the same version of Workday. So it's not like Bucknell has this version and Yale has that version. When everybody's on Workday, we're on the same version of Workday. So that's what's nice for when you see colleagues or you interact at conferences about that, or you run into people that are using it. It's nice for us as we learn the system and how to do things. So we're going to talk about creating a requisition. Chad's going to put up the screen. It's going to look like as you sign on now to Workday. So it's going to come, okay, we put this up here so no one is confused that we're playing in the wrong sandbox. So it's live, it's not live, training only, training only, training only. So we don't get confused in putting hard data in there or anything like that. So again, this is what your HCM, what your HR, when you do your time or you're approving a timesheet, what it looks like. Again, you have your name, your cloud over there. Just a reminder, you will have an inbox, like you do now, and a notification. Those are the two boxes we want you to be aware of. As a reminder, an inbox means you need to take an action. Someone is asking you to do something. A notification is Workday is notifying you that something has happened. There's no need to do anything with it, just a notification. So inbox, action, is requiring you to do something. Notification, we're just going to tell you something might have happened. In procurement, the notification is we're going to notify you when your requisition has been approved and when your purchase order has been issued. Because that's what you want to know. So those are the things that we're going to notify you on. And from there, you'll be able to see your requisition, your purchase order, So I'm going to walk you through the steps of creating a requisition. I'm going to say, this is how you do it in Banner, or I'll say, this is, Banner, we did it this way. Workday, we're going to do it this way. And we'll go through the budget and the terminology. Granted, there's a crosswalk in there. We'll just now say it out loud for you. Jeff?
I just want to remind people, or mention to people who got here late after I did my spiel, that because we're videotaping today, we have a very large group. We're asking you to hold your questions until a specified period of time after Rosaline's done like a segment of demonstration, just so we can kind of keep some flow going as far as her instruction and also rein in what we're doing so we can make this videotaping work out well. So I appreciate your patience as far as asking questions.
So again, here's what we call worklets in Workday. And you can customize your worklets of what you want on here with your dash set, things like that. One thing nice is requisitions, but we go through that. So we're going to do, in our search bar, Workday has a search bar much like a Google or any kind of search engine you have, and you can type freely in there. And whatever is in there, or if it's something that has a screen, it'll pop up. So like, for instance, we're going to do create requisition. And what we've done, we've opened this task out to everyone. So everyone can create a requisition. Everything in Workday is going to ask or require, we'll use that word, an approval. So if you put it in and you're an ops specialist, you're an AA, it's going to need what we call a cost center manager. And if, say, you're a cost center manager, say I put in a requisition because Chris is off on vacation for 2 weeks, I put something in, it's going to go to my supervisor. So no matter the dollar amount, they will always require an approval on that. Two things about Workday, and we'll talk about these two keywords as we go through all the training sessions, is that one of the decisions to go with Workday is the visibility of what we can see in Workday and what you can see at your fingertips on your own without having to call CIS for a report or having to call us for a report, and see everything all in one pot. You know, for those who have now JP Morgan Chase, who have a credit card, you reconcile in JP Morgan Chase's payment. In Workday, you're going to do all those transactions, reconciling it in Workday. Come to session B and we'll go over that in more detail. So right now, if you were to run any kind of report, you would have to do it in Banner and in Workday, in JP Morgan Chase, and combine those. And when you see your transaction, your credit card transaction in Banner right now, it just says P-card charge. So you don't really know what that is, there's no detail. In Workday, there'll be detail. That's the visibility of Workday. The other piece is going to be accountability. You are responsible for things you do in Workday. If you're using your P-card, if you're now going to have to reconcile your own P-card, no more having your AA do it or someone else in your department. Again, we'll go over that in the next session. So accountability. So those are two things you're going to hear about Workday. The visibility part, which is great, and the accountability piece of what we need to be accountable as people spending the money or moving money around. So again, create requisitions. So Chad starts in this process. He finds create a requisition. So this is what it looks like. The first screen, the company name, the requester, dollars, and the requisition type. On this screen, we're going to do a one-time purchase order. So we're going to buy something that I need to buy 100 hats for an event. So Chad can you go back? I'm sorry, Chad.
Sure.
We want you to get used to the idea of putting a requisition type in. It's not a required field, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a required field, but we want you to do that. We want you to get used to typing it, because when you see it in the blanket order side, if you miss what we call a work tag, and I'll explain that as we go through, we can catch it. So we're trying to make sure we know, there's no confusion of what you're buying or how you're buying it. Again, certain things may pertain to you and certain things may. You know, we have these CPOFs, most likely you're not going to use those. Our physical plant will use those ideas. Same thing with asset disposal. Sciences, we know, when they got, Karen will know that when they went through going into a new building, that means they didn't need anything. So we're now going to track it through an asset disposal. So cool, so cool. So yes, so we want you to get used to doing these items. So again, we're going to hit one-time purchase rec. And on the bottom we have OK. So we're going to go to the next screen. So here is our next screen. The biggest two things are going to be request a non-catalog item or connect to a supplier website. Those are the two main things. So here, we're not going to go to a website yet. We'll go to the next one. Create a non-catalog item. So now, we're going to request a good. We're going to buy something tangible. And we're going to put in an item description, like you guys do now in Banner. This is what I'm buying. I'm going to buy a computer. Oh, what's our supplier here? Yeah?
We have everybody in there now.
Okay.
For a lot of them.
Let's buy hats. Let's buy big flowery hats for commencement. For all the faculty to wear. Spend category. Required field. After required field. A spend category is now, in Banner, is your account code. What we did with your account codes now, you have supplies, program supplies, membership, travel, equipment. Those are some of the ones you have now. Now we've taken those and we brought them down to the next level of equipment, furniture, equipment, athletic equipment for athletics. So we kind of narrowed it down just a little bit more in detail so there's no guessing. Because I know sometimes we have the guessing game now of where do I put it? So we're trying to take that, where do I put it, out of your idea and make it more detailed. So again, this is a free line to type. A spend category will always start now with an SC, spend category. Get it? Yeah, right. 10 months took us to figure that out. So spend category, SC, will have a number. You will see every one that we have put on in Workday. Right now, you may only get, like when you look up your banner, I don't know what S banner looks like, I just can pretend I know. And you can see when you run your report, you may not have a membership or you may not have a certain one, but on the accounting website, it gives them all. What we want you to do, no matter what you spend, we want you to put it in the right spend category. So you can free line here, equipment, or program supplies, or wherever you think it belongs into. So again, the whole list is out there. You will see all of them. Even number 2 oil, it's not yours, but someone needs number 2 oil. So again, Chad types in supplies, there's instructional supplies, there's maintenance supplies, there's medical supplies, there's office supplies. Because like health services, they may call it program supplies, but it's really not a program, they need to buy medical supplies. So we tried to make it for every department. We might have missed 1 or 2, and again, as we go live and everything and hear back from the community, we may now change a couple of things going forward or in the next fiscal year. So we're trying to make it because your department may need to know how much did I spend in medical equipment, athletic equipment, instead of lumping it. So we want you to put it, the spend category, to whatever you're buying, to the right spend category. So you can, again, Chad just did equipment, appliances, athletic, cleaning, computers, electrical power. So it's more detailed in Workday. So great. So we can pick one, supply, in this case, program supplies. Chad, let's just see if there's program supplies. Yeah, there we go. SC. Nice. Supplier. A vendor, supplier, like a work banner, we call it a vendor, supplier. We will, what we've done is we're gonna move the banner vendors that we have in banner into Workday. We took 1.5 years of material or data and we're moving it over. Cross our fingers and hope it works, but that's what we're doing. We will also take some of your credit card vendors, we did a report on those, we're bringing those over. Because we want you to find your vendor in here. If it's not in there, you can let us know and we can talk you through that process of getting them in there. So again, you can freelance, you can write in, we've characterized them like this, women-owned, minority-owned, locally owned vendors, we tried to go from there. So, but again, you could free type in there, you know, we always like to use Adams, you know. And it'll pull up everything, if you just hit Adams, look, it's all these things. And you can pick one. Again, you'll see them all. So we could just pick Adams Faircare Farm. We went to the gift shop. Right now, supplier contract is not a required field. We're not going to do that. We don't know too much about this yet. This one may be phase 2. How many are we going to buy? Just like you do in Workday? I mean, dinner. You know, what's the quantity? 10, 1, 2. So let's buy 5. Unit cost. How much is the hat? $50 for the hat. Oh. Just like you do now, unit of measure. Again, it's going to have box, pack, each. Each is what we're going to pick. In this case, gallon, hour, go from there. Free type. A memo. You can put a memo in here that says, you know, if you want. You know, it's one of those things that it's an internal memo. It's going to be something that maybe you want somebody else to see. And remember, what you put in Workday will always be in Workday. So if you ever need to refer back to this order, a year from now, you can see everything you wrote. You will see, so that's what's nice. You can, you don't have to. And if that's all we're gonna buy, we're gonna say add to cart like you would do. This item has been added to your cart. Great. Say we wanna now buy gloves to go with the hat. We ask you now in our office, if you send something to Chris and it says, I need to buy supplies, and what will Chris call you back? We need you to itemize it, right? Chris will say, I need it itemized. So again, we can itemize in Workday the same way. So now we added the hats, now we can add the gloves, Chad. Now again, you could put a different spend category here, or you could use program supplies, you can use office, whatever, where it belongs. The only thing you have to do is keep the supplier the same. So it has to go back to Adams Ferry Department. You cannot use 2 vendors on 1 requisition. Well, by 5, it would, 3 of those, $10, unit measure is gonna be each. So now we bought hats and gloves.
Repair.
The what?
Repair.
A pair. Oh yeah, there you go. Sounds good. And now we're gonna add it to cart. So now, you have 2 items in your cart in the right-hand corner. So now if you click the cart, because you're done, that's all I want to buy, we're going to click that, and now we're going to finish the requisition process. So like you do in Banner, we're asking, is that what you want to buy? Yes. Here's your 2 line items. If that's it, you can hit checkout, or you can continue if you missed a line item. So if we just hit checkout, this is going to be our ship to address, like we have right now in Banner. Everything looks fine, we're gonna hit information or next. Information is gonna be here. We're Vassar, it's Chad, a one-time purchase order, we're buying it today. If you were working with Karen in my office, you can put Karen's name in here. This is not a required field, but you can put one of our names, and it'll just go to one of us. If you don't put anything, it goes to all 3 of us like it does now. Memo to supplier. If you want something to be written on the purchase order, please make sure they're here by a such date. This will print on your purchase order. Internal memo. If you want something again to be, say, 2 are going to go to OAD, 3 are going to go to reunion, 2 are going to go to commencement. Again, you can do that because I don't know about everybody else. Sometimes I forget who I was buying them for or where am I sending them. So you can do that internal memo. We can click next. They will show up on reports, so if you were to run a report, you would see those things. Now here, right now in Banner, we ask you to send us your backup. So if you have a quote, a proposal, a picture, something. Well, we're going to ask you to do the same thing in Workday, but one thing about this, it's going to be in Workday. So right now you have to do it separately. So now you hit attach a file, you scan it from your machine, you dump it into your computer, and now you grab it, you attach it, and it's here forever. Yay! So now we've added our attachment. Now we're going to review and submit it. So now we're going to talk about the budget information. Okay? So here we're going to, these are the 2 items we're buying. So nicely, look at that. So now Chad is going to run his cursor over. Here's the spend categories, our account codes that we chose, our supplier name, how many we're buying, just a refresher, unit of measure, how much it costs, how much money we're shipping it to, going to Chad. He's in the computer center. Keep going. This is like, here it is, right? In Banner, you have a fund, an org, an account, and a program. In Workday, you're going to have a fund, new word, cost center. Cost center is our org, and a function, which is our program. Okay? Again, we already gave at the beginning of the story the spend category, which is our account code. So we already said we're going to do it supplies. So these will populate of who you are. The fund, look at this, FD, spend category, SC. See, that's fun. So right now, cost center. This is what it looks like in Banner, right? This is not how it's going to look like in Workday. When you sign into Workday, it'll be your Workday cost center. So right now, Chad is going to type in user services. You can type in, if you are in charge of more than one budget number, you type in President's Inauguration, you type in President's Office, use those. So here it is, just for visual, this is your Banner number. This will not be in Workday. This is just for training purposes for us to go over it. This is the cost center that now will be July 1. CC. See a pattern? That's my kids would say. It's a pattern, Mom. It's a pattern. CC. So fund will start with an FD, your spend category will start with an SC, your cost center, CC, and then your function. So we're going to hit that, the SC number. Chad will have to change it on this also. Type in user services. Okay. I can't ask you to ask any questions right now, but I'm gonna say, I hope we're okay, because I'm gonna now throw you for a little bit of a loop. There are what we call in Workday additional work tags. They are your gifts, your grants, your endowments, your programs, and your events. Deep breath. Okay, because we need to tag those, or they need special routing for approval. I'm going to use Patty, because she's in the room, as a grant accountant, that the grants, she needs to approve all grant expenditures. In this process now, we do it for you. So if you send us a requisition and it's funded by grant money, we will send it to the grant offices on your behalf. If you are spending endowment money, we will send it to the endowment accountants now for you. So we'll do that for you now. If it's a gift, we do the same thing. We make sure that what you're buying correlates with the gift grant and that it's approved to use those expenses, to use those budget lines. Because the college gets audited. And the auditors come in another month and they look through our books and make sure we're doing what we say we're doing, especially with grants, endowments, and gifts. Is it for the purpose that we intended, that someone intended it to be? So we have to do that in Workday. But what we've done in Workday is we put the routing in Workday. So we no longer in our office or accounting will have to send it to Patty or Amanda or Dana Nalbandian or development to say, is this what it should be spent on? So Workday, we built that in Workday. So cool, so cool, so cool. For 10 months, so cool. So we're going to use Patty as an example in case if I speak out of class, you can tell me. So here's the word additional work tag. All right? So if Chad hits these three little radio buttons, look, events, gifts, grants, programs, and projects. Now you will be given a crosswalk, so don't get too crazy on me now. So you'll say, if I have a gift or an endowment, you'll get the budget number that's a 7M001, and then it has your org, and then it has a spend. So you'll get a crosswalk. And so if we choose grant, we can hit grant. If this expense, if these hats need to be spent on a grant. Now you can pre-type what your grant is. For those who spend this type of money, you know what it's called, or you know something about it. So, especially if you're a faculty member that's working with your AA, and you can type this in, free form, and we can pick about, let's pick David Bradley's grant. Okay, now don't hit it yet. Okay, a grant, I want you to focus on these numbers right now. All right, go Chad. Look, they changed.
Did it work?
It works. Yay, Patty. So again, if you pick, say, a grant, it will change your cost center and your fund. Because, again, we went in as Chad, he works for user services, so his cost center was populated. For the folks that are in the sciences, they have a lot of grants. For those who work use a lot of endowments. You could be that person that's putting it in, and if you pull a grant or an endowment, this populates, remember. Picking a tag, a work tag, will change this because it needs to go to the appropriate place. So again, David Bradley's in physics and astronomy, so it changed to his cost center, and then it changed to the grant fund that is temporarily restricted. So cool. So then again, if we were to pick that, it will route to the PI in a grant and make sure the principal investigator approves. It will go to Patty Pritchard to approve it on the grants side that that was appropriate for that expense, and then it will route to the stages. So that's how we tag. Can we take the tag off?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to show you that's where it is. So we can look at that again. So come on out. So for this scenario that we just did, we're going to come back. Can we put your cost center back in there?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to see the approval process. Patty, can you go in as John Collier? Once Chad submits this.
You're in 4.
Are we in 4?
Yep.
Okay, so now Chad is going to approve it. Now look, it says to him, it goes up to John Collier. Because John Collier is the cost center manager for Chad. So now John is going to get an inbox. It's going to his inbox. So John now will get it in his inbox. and it will say, Chad has a requisition out there. So for those who are cost center managers, I'm gonna pick on Ed Pittman right now, because he's gonna get these in his inbox. So, Ed will look at his inbox, and we'll pretend one of his people put something in, and he's gonna see the requisition. So, it'll say he put a requisition in. From Ed hitting that inbox, just like you do if you have to approve someone's timesheet right now. You're gonna get that, you can open it, and Ed will be able to see it's a one-time requisition. It was submitted by Chad. He wants to buy the hat, he wants to buy the gloves. He'll see the attachment. He could look at the quotes or the quotes. He will see the budget, the funding of the budget. And Ed could now send it back and said, I don't want you to use that budget, I want you to use this budget. So he can send it back within Workday, or he could approve it, which is great. So those are options as a cost center manager, those are the tasks that they will be able to have. So once John approves it, what did it say? It went where?
Up next, fire.
Okay, so in Workday, we have approval levels. Again, everything needs an approval. So if you enter a requisition from $0 to $999, it will go to your cost center manager. So in my office, if Chris Allen puts in a requisition, it will come to me, under $1,000. I can approve it, and then we turn it into a purchase order. If Chris Allen in my office puts in a requisition for over $1,000 to $5,000, it will come to me, because I'm the first level, and then it'll go to Brian Swartout. Because he is the assistant to the vice president. So depending on the dollar amount, depending on how it routes up the chain. Everything that we are discussing today has been approved by the steering committee, the Workday steering committee, and your senior officers. We have prepped the senior officers for 3 years now. Anything over $1,000, they approve today. So they know that they're getting these things now. We do it via email. They will now do it in Workday. So senior officers are aware of this process, they're ready for it, but now they'll see everything in Workday, the visibility piece. Again, that word visibility. They will see that Chad put the requisition in, that John Collier approved it. If Michael needed to approve it, Michael Cato in his office, he would approve it. And if it was over anything over $50,000, our CFO, Steve Bannock, would see it. And he will see the process that it goes through. It will not come to our office if it needs a PO, purchase order, until it's fully approved. So right now, we do that approval process for you manually. You can pull a PO out of our file, and it will have the requisition, it will have your cost center manager approval, it may have your senior officer, so it's there. In paper now, it'll be in Workday. So wonderful. And once it's fully approved, we source it, we look at it, we make changes, or we'll talk to you what changes we'll make on our side, and we issue the PO. Some instances, we will be able to CMXL it, such a new word I use, or thing I learned, that we can email it within Workday to the vendor. If we have their email address, we can send it right to them. So cool. Or we can print it old school and mail it. You will get notified when the PO has been issued. So if you're going to place the order, if you're waiting for it, you will see that in your notification box. Oh.
This might be a good time to take questions because,
Okay.
right, would you say?
Yeah, I'm good.
The requisition has been approved, or it's been sent on to the cost center manager. So,
Sue?
Does somebody need a quote on everything you buy? Like, if I have to get my ice cream for Earthy Foods, do I have to, how do you get a quote for ice cream?
can you also repeat the question?
Sue's question is, do we need a quote for everything we buy? In purchasing, we're gonna say yes. We need some sort of an attachment. It could be an email that says, or an email that says somebody from Earthy said, I need ice cream, we want to spend $50. So we're gonna call Carvel and, hey, can I get this? Yes, we've got $50. Again, we're okay with an estimate on those things, but we want some sort of backup. Because we ask you for that, and again, the auditors come in, and it's like the worst 6 weeks. They come down and they randomly select in our office like 100 purchase orders. and you pray they don't pick a bad one. You know, one where the funding changed, or one we didn't get something, or we missed something. So we give them a list of how we do things, and then they take these things and say, did you do the way you're supposed to do?
So we can't just like go to Stop and Shop in the morning and get ice cream and then come in and do that?
Okay, the question is, can I go to Stop and Shop and to purchase the ice cream? Yes, because you have a P card.
Yes.
Right, so if your P card is, you know, you're gonna buy ice cream for $50, you don't need a requisition for that, because it's $50. You don't need a requisition now,
Oh.
because it's $50, right? We charge it on your P card.
Mhm.
Again, P card will funnel into Workday. That's Thursday. I don't want to get off topic because I'll get yelled at. So that will be Thursdays.
Okay.
So yes, you can do that. And yes, you don't need a requisition because it's under $1,000. We will ask you, good segue, sorry, Tracy, that we will ask you, anytime you're buying something that's over $1,000, we would like you to submit a requisition prior to the commitment to the vendor, because then it's pre-approved. And then when you come on Thursday, we'll tell you how to tie it together. Tracy?
For example, like we have our annual Christmas party. Something like that, we know in advance what each firm is charging us for food. How do you want us to deal with that? I always use the card.
The question is, Physical Plant has an annual Christmas party, and they may use 3 vendors for the catering. We'll just use 3, right? We'll just say 3. So you know well in advance that this party is going to be December 18th. So you're going to call Baccios, you're going to call Geno's, and you're going to call Crooked Rooster. I have this many people coming, this is what I want, and they're going to say, here's your quote. Again, you will do, and if you're going to charge on your credit card, if it's over $1,000, you will do 3 requisitions. One will be for Crooked Rooster for $2,000, one will be for Geno's for whatever, $1,000, and one will be for Baccios for $1,000. You can still use your credit card, but we want the pre-approval in Workday and the requisitions. When the charge hits your Workday account and Visa dumps it into Workday, you can match the purchase order to your charge. There's a special spot as we reconcile the credit card in Workday. Again, side note, June will be the last month that you reconcile your credit card in PaymentNet. Bye-bye, PaymentNet. My office will do the administrative work in PaymentNet. You will not have access to PaymentNet. We will shut it off mid-July. We'll get all the June, and then come, and Visa will feed into Workday Monday through Friday to see your charges. Like right now, you can sign into PaymentNet and see charges that post. Same thing, if they post, they'll be in Workday. Tracy, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so ideally, anything over 1,000,
No, ideally. Anything over $1,000 will get a requisition.
I have a question.
Lena?
So it's an emergency knowledge, and the machines break down, and I can't wait for this process. And it's over $1,000, and many times it may be $2,000 for parts, and you need it. Would I be able to, because it's an emergency, charge it and then do the requisition for
The question is, from Lena, who's in the sciences, what happens if this equipment breaks on a weekend, or at night, or right then and there, and we have to fix it, we have to buy it because there's animals inside, or it's detriment to a class, or faculty research. And we know the same thing's gonna happen in Physical Plant, we know the same thing's gonna happen on dining, because we are a residential school and things happen 24 hours a day. We get that, we understand that, we know it's gonna be one of those things that will happen. As long as you follow up with the correct paperwork afterwards, and again, those are what those memo fields are for. This happened, emergency had to happen, and again, I know the faculty are great where they send me letters that say a sole source, or I want to use this vendor because my research is certain. Again, a lot of that stuff is during the audit, that will be something that we get questioned on, especially with grant funding, how we bought something or why we bought something. And same thing with gift and endowments. We get audited by so many different companies between if it's a private money or if it's government money. we have to make sure we are compliant to how we spend the money or what we're buying on certain things, especially with grants, especially with endowments, that we're buying it in the right capacity and that we follow the rules. So yes, we understand that happens, we understand there are emergencies, and again, some of those memo fields, that's where you put that information. This happened at night, this was an emergency, please forgive me, no. So yes, we get that. We are a residential school, we know pipes will break on a Saturday, we know things will fall apart on the weekend. We get those phone calls, so we understand that. So yes, those we follow up with the paperwork pretty good.
Will our budget live in here as well? So can we how they're...
Okay, the question is from Heidi. Are our budgets going to be loaded? For those who've been here for many years, people say, oh, why aren't our budgets loaded until October? You know, everybody wants, July 1st comes, you want your budget loaded. We will load budget, when we go live, budget will be loaded into Workday. You've probably already been told that you're not getting any more money than you got last year. So I'm not gonna ruin that surprise for you. It will be loaded into Workday. It will be loaded right now as Joe Bolander probably gave the person in your office who's in charge of your budget a spreadsheet that said, here's how we're dividing your money. Make the changes now. That was February, March. So somebody had to make those changes now because we have to be ready to load this week to be up and running by the weekend. So if there are changes that may happen, I don't know how we can fix it in Workday right now, and that'd be a better question for Joe Bolander, his group. But going forward in fiscal year 19, he could work with you in your department on those changes. But right now, we're gonna load the 18 budget in, and you'll see that. There will be a report, and Joe will do training on something that says, whoever went to UAT, you saw a report that says, manage budget report, or something like that, where you can put your organization number, your cost center, and you'll be able to see your spending. So much nicer than Banner. One thing about Workday that they are known for and very nicely is their reports. The reporting in Workday that you will have at your fingertips, you'll be so happy. Because I'm going to show you a quick one where you can go into My Requisitions and you can filter the year, the month, and you'll see your requisition, your PO number, what it was for, all the detail that you've done a PO. You can do a budgetary report. There's no budget in this, so I can't show you that now. And you'll have to wait for Joe's that. Sandra?
Can you show us what the PO looks like for the hats and gloves? Did you get to that stuff?
Can you went in as John?
Show us the
I approved it as John.
Where'd it go after John?
To
Can you
buy.
go in as me and approve it and source it, and if you need to bring your computer up, I can do that?
Rosalie, you know how I feel about doing your job?
Okay. Just go into My Requisitions. We'll go right here. We'll show you what that looks like. So we'll go into My Requisitions. So look what Chad can see. A few more details. So here Chad can see. Okay, here, this is what I want you to show you. So when you go into My Requisitions, and in Workday, you're always going to start at My Requisitions, not the purchase order. You're going to always start at the foundation of it, and you're going to see the whole thing. So again, Chad, we're going to leave this blank, except we're not going to show you cancel, or we're not going to show you closed. So if he just hits OK on this, look how nice this is. Look, these are all his requisitions. These are the type of requisitions, the dates, the dollars, the vendors, the purchase order numbers. These are in progress. And in progress, you can still edit it, and then this will say it's completed. Now watch this. You have a little button here that says dump it into Excel. Dump. Boom. Look. Ask Banner. There. How nice is this compared to Ask Banner? I have live Banner, so I don't have to do Ask Banner. But look how nice. Your requisitions. Very nice. Memo to suppliers, internal memos. So those two fields that you could write something in will show on this. So cool. So quick, right? So nice. Right? So you could do this for a fiscal year, last fiscal year, 2 fiscal years. All that. So, what we also want you to do in Workday, we're going to come back. Patty's going to go through the whole process for us.
I think I did it.
We're going to ask you to do what we call create a receipt. In financial world, we have a purchase order. It means tell the vendor, it's a contract, tell the vendor I want to buy these things. Then we want you to tell us when you receive them. And then, once you receive them, the vendor's gonna send us an invoice to pay them. We call it a three-way match. PO, on my receipt, and the bill. So for those people who've been here old school, like myself, we used to get a paper requisition and there used to be a green copy. And we used to say, sign this, then it goes to accounts payable, so that when accounts payable got that copy, they knew to pay the bill. We need to let accounts payable know when they can pay for these hats and gloves. Right now, Mary sometimes sends you the invoice, right? And says, is this okay to pay? Or you send Mary the invoice and you write okay to pay on it. Mary needs something to say, I need to make sure that this is okay to pay. Well, in Workday, they have something that says create a receipt. So once you create a receipt telling Workday, yes, I received these hats and these gloves, that notification goes to accounts payable. So when Adams bills the college for those items, Mary will see it, it'll have the PO number on it. She'll go into Workday and she'll see the PO and the receipt. So she'll know that so she'll pay it. Right? So, from this screen, we see our PO numbers. Say, we can go in there. There's a little what we call a radio button. In Workday, we call it a related action. And look there. When you pop that open, it says the purchase order, favorite, and receipt. So if we click receipt.
Let's do it for the one we did today.
Okay. Okay, so look. It's successfully completed. So Patty did the whole process for us. So now, oh no, she missed a step. See?
I can't do your job.
She missed a step.
All right.
Okay, so let's go over there. So we create a receipt. Look, there's the word create receipt. Pop. So, the PO number's there. We don't use supplier contract. You can tell us if it was fully received or did you get a partial shipment. So, if we just click fully received, we hit okay, we got everything. It comes down. There's all our stuff. This is not our hats and gloves. This is a different one. Bless you. So we can say we got all this stuff. You submit it. Yes, I received everything. Now it's going to tell you where it goes. We have this word detail and process with an arrow. If there's an arrow, that means there's something underneath it, something behind it. So you can see that. This is the receipt. This is what we received it for. If you hit the word process, it'll tell you where it goes. So Chad created the receipt. Step is completed. Not required, not required, not required. And it goes into Workday service. Workday service means the next step is the invoice is going to come and it's going to match and we're going to push the money out. So cool. To create the receipt. In your documentation, for those who went to UAT, we went through this. So this is going to be something that we're going to ask you to do when you do a purchase order. So now, any questions on that? Oh, the hands go up. In the back?
For chemistry, there is a vendor that we deal with, BWR, that there may be 20 items that we order, but they come in goods and drafts, maybe 2 at a time.
The question is, in chemistry, we tend to order a lot of items from a vendor. And they come in what we call partial shipments. You can go in there and not hit fully received. If you don't click fully received, it'll bring up all the items you ordered, and you can say, I received this one of those, 2 of those, 1 of those, submit it, and it'll go. So when Mary gets the invoice, and it should only have those 3 items that you received, so she can pay that bill. Because we don't want to pay for something that we haven't gotten yet. Okay, so we can do it that way. You can make multiple receipts if you need to. Sandra?
So currently I receive about 99.5% of the invoices from the vendor. So going forward, would it be best for the vendors to send the invoices directly to me? Or should I continue to receive them and send them to me with the PO number?
The question is, it's Sandra in CIS. She tends to get the invoices are sent to her. Is that process going to be the same in Workday? We, in finance, would recommend that invoices go directly to accounts payable. That's how it should be. Invoices should go directly to accounts payable. If Mary has a question, Mary will come to you. We want to be centralized in that aspect. So now we're going to walk through.
Rosalie's getting the finger from me. A couple of things I just wanted to point out at this juncture. First of all, Did everybody put their name on this sheet of paper? Yes? Okay.
Didn't hit the front row. Karen?
This is gonna
Good.
follow up on what we were just talking about, because sometimes we do maintenance contracts, and it's not like it's a good that's received, so.
It's still a service. The question is, if it's not as good, like in chemistry, we do a lot of maintenance contracts. It's a service. Even if you're gonna have lunch, you know, you have a departmental lunch, or you have a departmental breakfast, or you're having something, you still, it's a service, you're receiving something, or you're,
And you're
and
paying for it at the beginning of the service contract, so.
you can still create a receipt on that. That's fine. You know, the question was, you know, a lot of her stuff is service contract, so we pay for it in advance. So that's fine. So we're gonna run through how to create a punch out. A punch out. So what we did in
Rosalie,
work.
let me just interrupt you for a moment, then you can restart.
Okay.
So, this version of Workday that Rosaline is demonstrating for right now is not the live version of Workday that you're using right now for HR purposes, okay? And there's gonna be time after Rosaline has finished her presentation for you to stay on here and actually do some practice transactions in this in this training version of Workday, which has some of these finance functions built in. The finance functions that aren't available now in the live version of Workday. And I will send you a link via email to this training version. Big disclaimer, the training version is not the live version. Do not use the training version to do any work, to request vacate time off, to enter your timesheet, to approve a timesheet in the training version. It's only for the purposes of you practicing using Workday Finance functions before we go live with those functions in the system, the live system, as of July 1, okay? So anyway, we want to make it possible for you to not only get some practice time in today, but be able to continue to do your practice back at your office. Both as we approach July 1, even once the system is live on July 1, you may feel more comfortable practicing in the training version rather than practicing in the live version of Workday.
Because we may not know how to fix your problem in Workday Live, but we're working on it. In Workday, they have what they call a punch-out list, where we can put vendors that we buy now on a regular basis in Workday and stay in Workday, so we can see it in Workday. Again, the word visibility about Workday. So we looked at 4 contracts or 4 companies that we work with that we do large volumes with to see, can we get them in Workday? And so we did. We chose Staples, Amazon, Grainger, and B&H Photo. Plus, they were the 4 companies that said they would do this for us. So come July 3rd, Staples links go bye-bye. So Staple link, as you do it now, goes away. You will do this in Workday. Visibility, accountability. Because now, you're going to order it in Workday, it's going to get approved in Workday, and it's going to be through that. But the good thing is, with Staples, Grainger, and B&H Photo, you will no longer have to use your credit card. So there's no reconciliation of that. We will send them a PO, they will ship it to you, they will send us an invoice in Workday, it will match in Workday, and we'll push them money. So that works. But yes, we've tested it and it works. So that's what we'll do. So one thing about that, you will no longer have to reconcile those transactions that you do now in Staples and Grainger and B&H. Amazon figured out in Workday how they can accept your credit card. So Workday, as I said, has the same version across the board. Like I have an iPhone 7, you may have an iPhone 8, but everybody has the same version of Workday that is on Workday. Workday does 2 upgrades, September and March, so this may change. So our training sessions will continue. So as they make enhancements, we'll have enhancements, so we'll continue training. So someday we may be able to use a credit card. But right now, the only one we can use a credit card is Amazon. So we're going to show you Staples since that one everybody uses. Just going to do a disclaimer with Amazon. Amazon, we have worked with Amazon now to do a business-to-business account. So the first time you use Amazon within Workday, it's going to ask you to validate your email. Do you have your Vassar @email address? And it will verify that. And then it'll say, yes, And then when you place the order, you can put your credit card number, it'll just have you validate that one more time. So yes, those things will show. So let's go into, it's the same requisition process. So you're gonna see the same screen, so we're not gonna mess you up that way. So again, Chad is gonna create a requisition. Again, this is all in your job aid. As I look at faces like, oh my God, right? So in the requisition type, we're gonna ask you to pick punch out. Not sure why Workday picked that word, but they picked it. It's called the punch out. So, hit OK. I know some of you might ask, are you gonna have other vendors come in? Not sure. We're gonna wait to see how this goes first. So again, on this case, we picked this before, request non-catalog item. We're gonna click connect to a supplier's website. So here are the four that we picked. Staples, Grainger, Amazon, B&H Photo. So we do not touch, we don't click here. We go where it says connect. So we go to connect. Watch this. So exciting. Watch. Staples. Yay, 10 months. Yay, me. Right? 10 months that took me. And I still don't know how it happened. So again, Staples, this is Staples link. So this is your Staples contract, Vassar College's contract in here. So Chad, buy one or two things. And that, it'll look like this with Amazon. It'll say, hello, Vassar. Same thing with Grainger. Same thing with B&H. Hello, Vassar. So you buy things, it's going to buy something good? All right. So now you're going to proceed to, oh, you buy more, Chad?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? It's like fake money today, fake money. Buy what you can. That's how we're going to do in real life banners, Workday, on Friday. So now we're going to submit the order like you would do. Right now, when you submit an order in Staples link, it goes to Karen, and Karen's the only one that sees it. You could buy. She may question you, she may not. She may question your supervisor, depending on what it is. Sometimes we don't know how you guys work all the time, so when you buy something that's a little off, we kind of question that. So now we're hoping your supervisor may question that. Because he's going to submit the order. Close your eyes. Watch this. Workday! Yay, so we went from Workday into Staples, back to Workday. So cool. So again, here's the three things Chad bought, just like the last time in the requisition. We're going to go and check out. Same thing. What we're going to have you do in Staples, because out of the four vendors we picked, Staples is the guy that delivers it to your desk. Right? He's the only one that comes to your desk. Well, since we're going to issue them a PO, they need to know where you are now. Because before you had this nice profile that says, hi, I'm Bridget, I'm in communications, I'm main, second floor. Now we have to tell them where you are in Workday. So again, this is Jeff, where we have to update our job aid, where we're going to say, use an alternative address. I don't know if it's in 4. Now, in live Workday, when you turn alternative address, it's going to list every building. So you're going to find your building that says main, second floor. And in the beginning, I may just say have you put it in your memo to suppliers, please deliver to Bridget, main, second floor communications. Just in case we get a little snafu.
Did you do that every time, or is it?
It's going to be every time. But I think once we get out of the honeymoon phase, again, we're marrying Workday, we're going to get married, and we're going to have a honeymoon phase where we're going to have a little rocky, and then we'll be great. So we have to get through that rocky part, and that will be July 5th, right? No. So again, we're going to hit next. So we're going to check out. Oh my God, what are we doing? Okay. So here's our punch out. Memo to supplier. Right now we're just going to have you just as, because we don't want things to, the poor Staples man, I don't want him to get confused. So if we right now deliver to Bridget, second floor, main building, communications. It might just ease the honeymoon phase a little bit. We're going to hit next, like we did in the last scenario. In a punch out, we're not asking you to do this, an attachment, because your order is already in there. So there's no attachment needed, because what are you going to attach? The order is from a website. So we're going to have you hit next. Here's our friends, the budget number. So if Chad scrolls down, here it is. Those are the 3 items he did. What we didn't do in this scenario that we did in the last was the spend category. because you got this in the, well, we're dancing. We had you do this, it's not moving. So we're gonna ask you to do the spend category in this part. So again, you can type in office supplies, program supplies, whatever that is for. Remember, we want you to put it where it belongs. If, for instance, you forget to put a spend category, if you submit anything that's required, it will give you an error. And it will tell you, like right now, when you hit your timesheet or when you approve a timesheet, there's an error. Finance will do the same thing. It will say you missed a spend category. Or in this case, if Chad forgot to do all three, it'll say you missed 3 of them. And it'll tell you where to change that. So again, he's gonna put office supplies, office supplies. We're gonna scroll over. There's gonna be your quantity, your unit of measure, how much money this is gonna cost us, where I'm gonna ship it to, I'm Chad. Deliver to the computer center. Here's our budget number. Again, there's our fund. There's our cost center. Again, this is the old banner. So now, in this case, you know, you won't have to do it, my disclaimer, but Chad will have to do it for training purposes because this has old data in there. Again, if this is going to be something for grant, gift, or endowment, you can tag it in the additional work tax. So you can still do it in this process. If you need to split it, you can split it like we do in Banner. Some people charge a piece of it to a grant because the grant has $1,000, but we need it in my department, my operating budget's going to pay for it. You can. If Chad hits split, it will ask you to split it by quantity or amount. And then you'll just have to put another, like you do in Banner, you'll just have to put another budget number underneath that. And then you save it and it's great. So in the punch outs, we're not going to do it, we're just going to show them. You would, again, submit that once it's done. In the punch outs, and only in these 4 vendors, it will come to us for approval first, my office. Because if there's something in a punch out, say a piece of furniture, we tend not to buy furniture from B&H Photo or Staples because we don't know how they're going to ship it. Are they going to ship it unassembled? How are they going to get it to you? So we have it come to us first. We will look at it first before it goes to your cost center manager. Because we don't want it to go through the route and your boss said, you need to get a new chair. And then we say, no, we don't want you to buy it there. We want you to come to our office, sit in a few, see what you like, and then we order it that way. So we don't want it to go to your supervisor, then we say, no, we don't want you to do it this way. Then it goes back and that person's going to say, didn't I already approve this chair? So we're going to try to take that out. So we're going to look at these punch-outs first in our office. Once we approve it, it'll go to your cost center manager and up the chain. And then it'll come to us to issue it out. Questions on punch-outs?
So Amazon is a complex vendor because it has Amazon Prime, which you pay extra for. Does this eliminate the need for Prime?
The question is, with our business-to-business account, do we still need Prime? Or do my department needs to still buy the Prime membership? We were going to say no, because it comes in 2 days. Our business account comes in 2 days. So if there's planning and preparation and everything is done, then 2 days should be fine. If not, that's a departmental question you'll have to do. And we'll have to ask Amazon about that within Workday. So, Patty, can you ready to know about Prime membership with business to business? And I'll contact my rep and see how we work that within Amazon. Because if you do it, again, we have asked these 4 vendors that if you go outside of Workday to stop it.
Right.
Visibility, we want to see it in Workday.
What about purchasing things that are tangible, like films?
That you buy through Amazon or that you buy outside of this? Like you buy it from that company in Chicago, right? Or rent videos once a month?
Right, for the rental. I don't even know if we will use that in Amazon Prime, the asset where you can watch these.
Sometimes on occasion we'll do that, we have to have that access to Prime because we're able to watch programs right away.
Well, we can follow up, but let's see what we can do, and if not, we may be able to do that outside. We'll figure out something on that. So the last type of requisition we're going to do is your blanket orders. It's basically a little bit the same process, where we just have a couple of tweaks in there, we've spelled it out in our job aids. We want you to be able to report on blanket orders very easily, because 99% of you, if you have a blanket order for fiscal year 17, you're gonna have it for 18, you're gonna have it for 19. So there's a way that we can copy them and use them, or you can see all your blanket orders, you can just pull just your blanket orders. So we're gonna go create a requisition. Again, we tag it here. We need you to tag it here, especially in a blanket order, because we're gonna need you to put it on a custom work tag at the end, so that we can make sure that we can report off that. So you're gonna hit blanket order, you're gonna hit OK, you're gonna hit a non-catalog item, because we're not going to the web. We're gonna ask you to use service in this case. And then in the description, we're gonna say, is it, you type it like you do in Banner right now, maintenance on a piece of equipment, supplies at Davies Hardware, a blanket order for this. So whatever that blanket order is for, is what we want you to put in here. Spend category, where does it go? Does it go to maintenance? Does it go to repairs? Does it go to supplies? Does it go there? So again, your spend category is your account code. What is it there? Computer maintenance today. Yeah, there you go. Supplier. Let's see, we'll use Apple, Dell, whatever you have in there. So what we're going to have you do is the start date and the end date. This is for you, Karen. No, this is for everybody. But now we can put a start date and end date. We freely type it now. But if you have a contract for 3 months or 6 months, or we can put dates now. And this will print on the PO. So this will tell the vendor that this blanket order is open from July 1st, or whatever date you open it, July 1st of 2017 till June 30th of 2018. That will print on the purchase order for us. So we're going to pick some dates. And really, the blanket order is to encumber money. So what you're not going to see here is a unit cost or quantity. It's really, you're buying a service for the most part, or you want to set aside money to encumber money for the fiscal year. So here, you're just going to see extended amount. So here's that dollar amount. How much money do I want to encumber for this year for this vendor? Again, memo. If not, you add to cart. Item has been added to cart. You go back to your cart. You got one item. We check out now. So now we're going to check out. Check out. Here's our shipping. We've seen this again. Check out. Here's our requisition type, our buyer, memo to supplier if there's one, internal memo if there's one. You can indicate that. Next. Here we're going to ask you for the attachment. For contracts, this is where we can put them. For service agreements, for a price list, whatever. So then, for those, I'm going to point back to Karen in chemistry, she has maintenance contracts, and Sandra, you have maintenance contracts and service agreements, and they get signed by senior officers. We now can attach them into Workday, and they will stay here. So there's no more phone calls to my office, or anybody, or to Zara and VP's office. Who has this contract? Does anybody know where the Workday contract is? Does anybody know where the Banner contract is? Does anybody have the garbage contract? So once you dump it here, we will have it forever. So exciting. Nice. And your boss can see it. You can go back and find it. You can go back and look at it. All your supervisors will be able to see that. So wonderful. But if there's a social security number on it, don't forget, or cross it off. But again, you dump it there. You drop it in there. We hit next. Okay, this is where I want you to pay attention. So again, this is going to be the screen where you're now, it's not going to be in goods because we have the service one. This is where we're going to tag it with an additional work tag. So we're going to slide your bar over. There's your spend category. So this is your account code. You are now going to go all the way over and see your fund, your cost center. You change that, chat. So user services to the Workday number. Again, you will only have Workday numbers and you're live. And then we have this thing called Custom Fin Work Tags for Spend. We're going to click this bar. We're going to go Custom Work Tags for Spend. And we're going to touch blanket order. So now we can report on this. So now we're going to hit submit. And it's going to go to John Collier. So cool. Right? Questions? Go ahead, go ahead.
So, many times I have to split it between different departments. Category, and I didn't see a split.
I believe his question was, can we split? The previous requisition I showed that there, at the back, there said a split, you can split by quantity or amount. And if you're gonna split it, excuse me, for two different departments, say you need to split it for biology and chemistry, you can. The chemistry will route the chemistry way, and the biology will route the biology way. Because you're using two different cost centers. So if you're using two different orgs, because you're in the sciences and we bought something that we're gonna share, you can split it by amount. So if it's $5,000, you wanna give $2,500 to biology and 25 to biochem, if there's things like that, you can do it. And the approval will route to whoever that cost center manager is forever that cost center. So it may go to the chair of one department, then they'll go to the chair, they both have to approve it before it comes to us.
But it is, I didn't see the split of account numbers.
Okay?
Was it on there?
Okay, Chad, go to my requisitions. Just go to my requisitions. So say this scenario, you forgot to do that, and you're like, ah. So Chad's gonna run this report, this is my requisitions. Okay, so go to a Chad, go over, see the one that says in progress, can we go to where it says edit? Oh, thank God. Thank God, right? So we go to edit this. So let's go to review and submit, let's just go right down to the budget center information. Okay, let's scooch all the way over to the right. The word split, hit split.
Oh, there it is. I didn't see
Okay.
it.
So again, just hit the button here, Chad did another one. And so we can now, 50%. And now it's gonna ask you for the fund and the organization. You come over here and then it'll say done. Once that's done,
Will these accounts be in our system?
yeah,
Absolutely will.
you will see everybody's. So you will not just see yours, you'll see everybody's. But if you put the wrong cost center in there, for instance, Workday did not allow us just to give us biology's budget number. It opens it up to this every work cost center out there. But if you use the wrong cost center, no, then it's gonna go to the wrong supervisor. Then he's gonna send it back, or she's gonna send it back and say, not mine. So again, so there is the split. You can submit it and you can split it that way. And any requisition you can split. Guys in the back, Karen, wanna go first?
Yeah, so am I going back to doing maintenance contracts as a blanket order now? Or is right now you do it as a regular PO?
If you're gonna use it, read the question. Karen's gonna say, right now, there's been some, we have asked, some of them, if it's a one-time payment, should you do it on a blanket, or should you do it on a blanket order, or a regular purchase order? Is it something that you want to see year to year to year? You may want to put it in a blanket, it doesn't matter. One thing about Workday, I'm gonna do this. Right now, in Banner, we have 3 types of POs. You'll get a blanket. If it's a blanket, it starts with a B. If it's a PO that was in fiscal year 17, it's going to say P1700123445. If you use capital money, like our friends in physical plant, and they use capital money, it starts with an SP, special project. So we have these, in Workday, we don't do any of that. Workday will generate the PO for us. Due to the reporting that is at your fingertips, there was no need to do that sequence any longer and to maintain that sequence. So that's an internal thing, I think, an answer for you, Karen. Is that something that you want to see, that you want to report off? And then what Workday can do is if you do that requisition for that maintenance for IBM, for that piece of equipment, next year you can go in there and you can copy that requisition. So you don't have to type it all over again and then submit it. So that's what Workday, you can copy the requisition so you don't have to type it again. And there'll be a report that says my blanket purchase order, so if you need to see that, so that's one nice thing about it.
Does the regular PO allow you to choose dates, or is that only in the?
Only on the service POs. So if you hit a PO that's a service, you can do it. You don't have to tag it as a blanket.
Okay.
So you don't have to do that. So again, some of these things are gonna be what you need. This may not, what we're showing now is how you can do it, but again, if you need it to be a blanket or for a service, mostly the blankets are gonna be for supplies, but if you want that to trigger your brain of who are my maintenance contracts. Or I want to put them on blankets to get me thinking in January, because sometimes, contracts have 90 days to cancel. That you may want to trigger, see those at certain times, and go from there. Sandra?
Even if you cancel it or if you don't, you can still change the amount on the blanket, the following.
Yes. The question was,
To start and end it.
yes. The question is, when we renew it for the next following year, can we go in there and edit it? Yes, you can copy it and edit it at the same time, going forward. Yes?
What's the process of adding a new vendor?
Okay, the question is adding a new vendor. So you know right now that when you want to add a new vendor into Banner, my office or accounting will say, fill out a vendor application, right? So we're gonna still have that process. Now that process is gonna be on our website, the link, and on accounting's website. And you're gonna be able to, you go to accounting's website? Because it's on their website already. So if we go to vassar.edu, you type in accounting services, there'll be a form that says, and it'll be on ours too, once we get it ready. And they can pre-type it in. Right now you have to print it, they sign it, they scan it, they email it back to you, and you forward it to us. So right now we have that form, it's a free form. They can either, let's find it. Vendor registration? Do we see it?
I have Jean sent me the link so I can pull that up
Okay.
too. Just give me a minute.
So, as we're starting this process, we're trying to change our website from Banner to Workday. So it'll be something they can pre-type, and they can dump it into a Dropbox now. So we can dump it into Dropbox, and then we'll get notified when they fill that out for security purposes. So yes, and then from there, if there's any kind of vetting we need to do on our end or their end, we will do that on our side like we do now already, and then we can type them into Workday. So what else is on my thing? Journal vouchers or create a supplier invoice? They have to keep me honest here. I have 5, 6, 7 minutes. Sandra?
So when I receive the vendor application, remind me again,
It's going to be a new vendor application. We made a new one. And it'll be on our website and the accounting's website. And the vendor can fill it out themselves, and the vendor can follow the instructions to say, dump this into a secure Dropbox. And
Can you add that to the favorites or the worklets? The front of
I don't
Workday?
think so, because it's on our website. Or they can hand, I don't know, somebody walked in the office the other day and handed it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
Can you repeat the question, Rosalie?
Sandra goes, correct person. No, Sandra,
Registration application.
about the vendor application.
Can we drop it in Workday?
Can it be one of our worklets?
Can it be under requisitions?
And I want to say no, because it's not anything to do with Workday. This is all outside of Workday. The form is outside of Workday, and the Dropbox is not within Workday. So what else is on our agenda?
That was pretty much it.
That's it? And I'll take questions now. Oh, now they go up. I'm afraid. We'll go Sean first, because he hasn't asked one yet.
Cash advance. How do we do that?
Okay. We do those still?
Our teachers at the start of the school year to buy supplies for the classroom.
You don't buy on credit card?
Gives them a little bit of power.
Oh,
It's
your
fake
teachers?
power.
Oh, your
Yes,
teachers,
we're
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Your teachers. The question is, Sean works over in the nursery school and ICC center. Can I do cash advances for my teachers to go out and buy things that they want to buy? We do it now, right?
Yes.
We can do it in Workday. So, Jeff?
I believe cash advances are done through through Candace's curriculum. It's
Okay.
It's
I was so
actually-
going to pretend I knew what you were going to
so
add.
it's actually Chad is in the spend author. I think it's in the spend authorization. So on the travel side of Workday, there's a form that you'll become familiar with called spend authorization, which is an opportunity to estimate what the costs are going to be for a trip that you're planning. And I believe that in that form, there's an option for requesting a cash advance. I'm not sure where else in our
Yep.
system.
So I think that your teachers could fill that out, spend authorization, then they could say, I need for supplies, and I want $30, or $50, or $100. And then it would route to the approval process in your department, and then it goes to accounting for them to get the money to go to the cashier's office.
I would just say that your circumstance is very rare these days, where the college is issuing very few cash advances at this point. So I think that's the route that you'll go. So look at the create spend authorization, and also then I think that's probably the route to go.
Are we talking about create a supplier invoice?
It's not on the
Okay.
list, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going with the fellowship office, and I know that they request requisitions for checks for fellowships. Is that going to be
So-
done Workday?
The question is, she works in the fellowship office, and sometimes we need a check for something. It could be for a lecturer, or an honorarium, someone
So
to come
for
in,
students, for the students.
for the students. So, I'm gonna say that, right now you do it on a long form, correct, on the DP form?
I just started, so I don't know exactly.
Okay, so let's say we do that in long form. Right now, you guys have that long form, which is called a direct pay. A lot of times, you're gonna be paying attorney fees, asking for permits, honorariums, lecturers, things like that. Things that we consider non-tangible. And in Workday, there is something called, we'll walk a little bit through it. It's gonna say create a supplier invoice. Look at that, an invoice request. Okay, so I missed one line. So yes, so this will take the place of the direct pay form. So you'll have this in your job aid where it's gonna ask you to pick these things out, like the company. It's gonna be Vassar College. The supplier, who are you going to pay? And if they're not in there, you need to fill out that form, but if they're in there, they're in there. So, right, we'll just pretend it's Adams. How much are we going to, then this is gonna be a required field, the vendor reference number. So if, in this case, if you're paying, if there's no invoice on the payment piece of paper, make it today's date. But that field needs to be filled out. So do that. And then if we come down here, like the item description, an honorarium, a lecture, attorney fees, I need a building permit, goes in there. Here's our spend category. What's the account code I'm gonna charge? A lecturer, whatever. The quantity, the unit amount, the extended amount. And then it's gonna ask you to fill out your budget information. And if it's a grant gift that you're paying it for, here's our additional work tags that you can put in here also. And then, if you come up just a little bit up, Chad, it's gonna be the word attachment. So you have something that says, you know, for me to come to Vassar, I want $100. Or if there's an email that approves paying a student $100 to do whatever the fellowship said, the band, the contract, whatever it is that's gonna tell accounts payable, I need a check for this amount of money. You're gonna go to the attachments, it's gonna just look like the requisition. You're gonna scan it, drop it, and it's there forever. Best thing about it, and it's always there. And it'll go through the approval process like everything else does. Again, everything in Workday needs someone to sign off on it. So if we filled this all out correctly, Chad, you hit submit, and then it goes to the routing of the approval, and then it goes to accounts payable. So know, as if you're a cost center manager, if you are a supervisor, you are going to need to log into Workday probably on a daily basis. Do not leave Workday open on your desk, because if your login is open, somebody could, you know, somebody who's nosy could go, "Oh, what's, you know, salary, benefits," remember that. So these are things that you need to look at, because you may need to do something in there, especially as a manager or cost center manager, that you may need to approve someone's time off, or a requisition, or a direct pay, or something to that. So, let the hands go out. Yes, Sandra?
So currently we use the long form for memberships. Do I use this one for memberships?
The question
Or can I
is-
use a blanket because I'm gonna use it again for Father's Day?
Again, the question is for a membership. Right now, you use this. You can do a membership two ways. You can see if you can pay the membership on a credit card. great, or you do the long form. I wouldn't do it on a PO. Membership we would consider as a direct pay, as a non-tangible item. Do it on this, because you'll need to pay that. Or your credit card, those are the two ways I would handle a membership. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, Melissa, I'm a temp worker, so everything is new. I literally had just learned that a month ago, and now like everything I learned from that, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll look at again. But my question is, how long after Workday Finance goes live will we have access to the training, Workday Finance?
The question is, once we go live with Workday, how long will we be able to play and say this training module is Workday 4? Jeff, can you answer that question, because I can't.
Still being determined. I think our plan is to maintain it at least through the summer. But of course, there are also folks who we won't be training in this until they come back from summer break. So the chances are it's going to be maintained for a while. And we do want this to be a tool for you where you feel comfortable trying out the system rather than using the live system, and where you can put in a rec and it could get canceled because it was by mistake. We'd rather have you trying out the system here. So we're good. It's a matter. I have to get the details. The answer is at least for a few months probably.
Just I'm going to give you something that some maintenance and RO stuff we're going to do. Usually at the end of the fiscal year, and development's very good at this, especially with reunion being so close at the end of the fiscal year, about when we close things, like close a purchase order, close a rec, we will now do that on a more timely basis instead of once a year, because with Workday we can do this at our fingertips. So we may do it manually or quarterly, and we will close things that, say, since we will close every requisition that has already been approved. Then we'll go in and then we'll close purchase orders that have been fully received and fully paid. We want to make sure that when you look at your budget sheets, there's no sitting in commitments. Like you see now, oh, can we close that, because you may have a PO for $1,000, but the caterer, the people didn't show up and your event was only $800. So on the accounting side, if they don't close that PO, the money doesn't get encumbered, it sits in your encumbrance for $200. So unless you tell someone in accounting or purchasing to unencumber those funds, those still sit in your commitment. In Workday, we're going to try to do it in a quarterly basis to say, so we can make sure that the general ledger, where the money sits, goes back where it needs to go back and goes back like that. So we will do it more often now, and we'll do it in our office. So again, if there are things that you want to say, hey, close this, close this, close this, if you tell us that we'll do it, we can do one at a time, or we can do a batch. So we're going to give you time, once we answer the questions, to play in Workday 4. Sue? Okay, the question is, how do we reimburse someone with what form? The question was, how do we go about reimbursements? I don't want to talk out of school, it's not something that I am, but if you go to Candace's travel, she will talk to you that in the travel. It will be in the expense form. When you create an expense form, that's how we do the reimbursements in that way in Workday. So it's not to create the supplier invoice, it's not the long form as you would associate it, what we associate it. It will be in the expense form, okay?
An expense form?
Yes, you would fill out an expense form.
It's actually called Create Expense Report.
Yeah.
And you'll see a job aid, an instruction sheet in your materials about that.
Okay. So the expense thing, the reimbursements brings me to the fact that we have at least 12 students who will have key cards in our department and have in the past. Or they get reimbursed for everything. Because they have to be able to purchase without mommy or daddy holding it. Meaning me, being not, and daddy of the department. Because I can't go purchasing with them. I can't go running around purchasing with them.
The question is, what do we do about students that have P cards? Those P cards, are they tied to your budget? Are they?
Yes. Yeah, because we make films and they have to be grown up and go out and purchase for their films.
How do the students do it if they have a P card and tied to your account? Well, again, we're going to tell you something. If you have a P card and you're a non-student, let's just take this, divide this. If you have a P card and the P card is in your name, and you work in the academic life of my professors have, if anyone, professor, senior officer, incoming Betsy Bradley, if you have a P card that is in your name, you have to now reconcile your card. You can no longer delegate that task to your AA, your office specialist, anyone else. You will now, again, we say the word accountability. You have to be accountable for the funds that you spend on your P card. If you, as an administrator or chair or dean or senior officer, say, I don't want to reconcile my P card, I'm going to give my assistant my Workday sign-ons. Guess what? If you do that, they have access now to your compensation package. And anything else that's privy to your team. Not a good idea. So again, this decision has been approved. Well, we can't even change it. Senior officers are aware of this, steering committee is aware of this, dean of faculty office is aware of it. If a faculty member has a P card, that faculty member has to reconcile it on their own. Doesn't matter where it's tied to. Because every purchasing card is tied somewhere. So it is tied. As you have it in payment net, right now we default it, correct? We default it to something. In Workday, we cannot default it. So if someone decides, I do not want to reconcile my P card, it will say an unreconcilable file. We'll talk more about that in Thursday's class. So that's the cliffhanger for you to come back.
And Heidi, I would also say that you need to identify for us, and we need to know who those students are, because they're gonna have to get trained. Anyone who owns a P card really should get trained. So
Students will not have access to Workday. We will have to have them reconcile in payment net, and we'll bring those charges over in a different kind of integration. So.
But we'll have to,
But again,
we'll come up with a curriculum so
Right.
they understand.
or
the guidelines.
what we could do is tie those charges to you, and then you have to reconcile them. So there's a way we could do it that way.
Okay.
Okay,
That
so,
actually isn't bad.
right, so we can tie them, what happens, I'll give you the background. How Visa, our bank, finds you in Workday is by your Workday employee ID number. So again, for people in the library, we're gonna use Cindy as an example. Cindy has a credit card that just says, forgive me, it's wrong, it might say acquisitions. This card belongs to acquisitions, so it just says the word acquisitions on it. So what we routed that acquisitions card, we routed it to Cindy's Workday ID. So when she logs into Workday, all the charges that go onto that acquisition card, Cindy is now responsible. We can do the same thing for you, Heidi. We can take all those 12 students, put your employee ID on them, and they will map, what we call, map it to you in Workday. So think about that. Let us know, are these 12 students here for the summer? No, right? All right, we can talk about it in August. Yeah, so we can talk about that in August. So when you're ready to come back to talk about that, so we can map that correctly for you.
So I would take Heidi's example and Sean's example as two case studies for you all to think about. Because we do business a certain way right now. We've been doing it with Banner and with our old systems for more than 2 decades. We're now entering a new era, okay? So there are going to have to be adjustments in our processes and procedures. When you encounter something like a cash advance, which we're generally not offering these days, or you've got 12 students who have P cards, how are they going to fit into the system? This is where we are experiencing what's called organizational change. And that's where my role steps in a little bit more. When you encounter these intersections of the old way and the new way and wondering how Workday will interface with that, come to me, bring your scenario to me, and I will find the right person for you to work with to figure out the new routine that will, because we can't stop, you have, as you say, you have these students using P cards for a reason. We want to maintain that, but we have to make some kind of accommodation into the new system.
And we tried, in the last 10 months, we tried to figure out how best we can handle what you guys do now. But again, we know we miss things. But we can do it in Workday, and we can figure out how to do it in Workday. Just when you come up with these scenarios, to contact Workday at Vassar.edu, and Jeff will give it to the right person. Again, there's been 9 of us on this committee to be in charge of the finance part, you know, and it was an aggressive timeline that we did to be live from Monday.
So this is also a good moment for me to just let you all know about the levels of support that will be available to you once the system goes live on July 1st. So, you know, it's a new system, lots of changes. The service desk in the College Center will be your first line of support. You can submit an email to workday@vassar.edu or call the service desk or turn up there in person. And you'll get an initial level of support. And they may be able to give you guidance, or they may realize that the question you're asking requires somebody with more expertise, and they may refer the question to them. Or they may refer you back to the instruction sheets that we've given you. Your answer may be in the instruction sheet, but you know, until you have a conversation with somebody about the work you're doing, you may not realize that. We're gonna hold some drop-in office hours, even over the course of the summer. Again, for those of you who like to have somebody face-to-face to work with, those opportunities will be available through the summer and into the fall. And in the first a couple of weeks, actually the 8 or 9 leads, Rosaline, Candace West, Dana Nelbandian, Dana Kleinhans, Patty Pritchard from Grainger Administration, they will be available over in the CIS building. We have a Workday room that's kind of been the war room where all these projects have been developed over the last 18 months. You'll be able to walk up directly. We'll have laptops set up for you. If you want to just sit down and do something in Workday and know that you have an expert sitting right next to you from beginning to end when you're working on the transaction, that'll be another option for you in the first few weeks that we go live with the system. And if at any point in the process you're looking for help, you've asked, you've gone through all the right channels, you're not getting the response you need, you can turn to me. I'm kind of the advocate in that regard. J.E. Kosmacher is my email address. My phone extension is 7616. So we want to have lots of levels of support for you, and if at any point something feels like it's slipping through the cracks for you, you can come to me and I'll make sure things get back on the right track. So, as I said, Chad, you want to put the URL up? This is our training version of Workday for finance purposes. We're going to put a URL up on the screen now, and if you want to log into one of these computers you're sitting at and play with the system a little bit with some of us here to answer questions, you can do that. I'm going to email all of you the same URL so you can do your practice back at your office. And again, this is just the practice version of Workday. Don't transact any of your live business Workday-wise into this training version of Workday.
Thank you for coming.